What is happening, guys? Jahman here, back at it again with a new video. Hope you're doing well, hope you're safe and happy. Today we're not talking about tech, no, we're diving into a shoe that's been my trusty running companion for 900 kilometers. It is the Puma Deviate Nitro 2. I've used it for pretty much every type of run you can imagine, from hard interval sessions to long, slow recovery runs. And spoiler alert, this shoe is a serious all-rounder. This is my second pair that I ran 900 kilometers with. We'll talk specs, what it's like to run with these, the durability after all those kilometers, and a sneak peek at the newer Nitro 3 version, which, hint hint, Puma, feel free to send my way. Alright, let's get started. Let's start with the technical details, because these are what makes this shoe such a standout. The midsole is made with Puma's Nitro Elite foam. If you're unfamiliar, this is a nitrogen-infused foam designed to be lightweight, bouncy, and responsive. It's what gives you that extra spring in your step without feeling overly cushioned or sluggish. Embedded in this midsole, you'll find the power plate, which is Puma's version of a propulsion plate. It's not as aggressive as a full carbon plate like you find in some racing shoes, but it still gives you a noticeable energy return, especially during speed work or tempo runs. Think of it as a little turbocharger for your stride. Now, the outsole. It's made with Puma grip, which in my experience is one of the better outsole materials on the market. It grips well on both wet roads and light trails, so you don't have to worry about slipping during those rainy day runs. It's also surprisingly durable. After 900 kilometers, the wear is minimal, just some expected smoothing in high impact areas. Weight-wise, the shoe comes in at around 275 grams for my size, and it's got a heel-to-toe drop of 6 mm, which strikes a nice balance between speed and comfort. Oh, and one quick note on weather resistance. While this isn't a Gore-Tex shoe, the upper does have some water-resistant properties. Light rain? No problem. Heavy rain? Your feet will get wet but not soaked. So it's decent for all weather running, but don't expect miracles. Now let's talk about the most important part. How does it feel to run in these shoes? The short answer, amazing. But let's break it down. First thing I noticed was how comfortable they are right out of the box. My toes, heels and ankles fit perfectly. No hot spots, no rubbing and no breaking in period needed. The upper is snug but not too tight, and the fabric is soft against your skin. For me, this comfort has been consistent across all distances and run types. Whether it's a quick 5K or a 20K long run, the shoe feels great. And that's a big deal because comfort can really make or break a run. The Nitro Elite foam is the star of the show here. It strikes a great balance between cushioning and responsiveness. On long, slow runs, it absorbs impact really well, keeping my legs fresh. And during speed sessions or interval workouts, that power plate kicks in and gives you a nice pop with every stride. It's versatile enough to handle all kinds of runs. You don't need a separate shoe for tempo runs, easy runs or long runs. This shoe does it all. It's kind of like the Swiss Army knife of running shoes. So after 900 kilometers, how have they held up? Honestly, I am impressed. The midsole still feels responsive, which is rare at this mileage. Most shoes lose their cushioning by now, but the Nitro Elite foam is holding strong. The outsole has some wear, particularly in the forefoot and heel, but the Puma grip is still providing great traction. The upper is in excellent condition. No tears, no loose threads, and it still looks pretty clean, despite all the dirt I've run through. We do see some things here, but that is to be expected after 900 kilometers. Durability is definitely one of the standout features of this shoe. It's not just built for performance, it's built to last. And yes, of course, no shoe is perfect. The biggest downside, it's the price. Right now, it's quite steep, because when I bought these, I got them at a steep discount. But now, even though Puma still sells the Deviate Nitro 2, they've hiked the price to a premium level. And honestly, that's tough to justify when there's already a newer version, the Nitro 3, on the market. And speaking of the Nitro 3, Puma, if you're watching, feel free to send a pair my way. I mean, after running 900 kilometers in these, I think I've earned it, don't you? So what's new with the Nitro 3? From what I've seen online, Puma's made some tweaks to the midsole and upper to improve comfort and performance. They're promising a lighter, more streamlined design with even better energy return. I haven't tested them yet, but they look promising. If they manage to improve on the Deviate Nitro 2, they could be a serious contender for the best all-round running shoe. Alright, so after 900 kilometers, would I recommend the Puma Deviate Nitro 2? Absolutely. If you're looking for a versatile, durable shoe that can handle all types of runs, this is a fantastic choice. Yes, the price is steep right now, but if you can find it on a sale, or if you're okay with investing in a reliable workhorse, it's totally worth it. And as for the Nitro 3, well, stay tuned. Hopefully I'll have a review of those soon. And that's it for today's review. Let me know in the comments, are you team Nitro 2 or are you excited about the Nitro 3? And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more content. See you in the next one. As always, stay safe, stay happy, good luck.